Hey, my lovely, lovely, wonderful, handsome, beautiful people, a pleasant afternoon to you. When a lot of us women talk about these things, we cry a lot of excuses for things that we really shouldn't be crying excuses for, and because it only gets worse when we see it becoming acute and it becoming really, really dangerous, that is when we say, boy, people spoke and we should have listened. There is something radically going on with our Jamaican men, I don't know, and it is a combination of a whole host of things. It's not one issue. I can tell you some paramount things, some of the most important things, really bad parenting or no parenting, improper parenting, being very godless, and not being exposed to solid education, whether informal or formal, poor, being in a poor environment, not having the nutritious type of food to eat, that is creating some sort of imbalance in the man, but predominantly not being raised and nurtured in the way he should go. Let's speak of the he now. That when he's old, he doesn't depart. It doesn't mean that he won't make mistakes. It just means that as he gets older, a lot of the principles and teachings that he would have garnered as a youth, he would have employed that in dark times, in challenging times, in opposing times, in resisting times, that calls for such. I'm trying to really comprehend, how is it that a man, Jamaican man, kills the vice mayor of Coral Springs? And I'm reading that it is his wife. The vice mayor of Coral Springs in Florida, Nancy Metea Bowen, has been shot dead, and her Jamaican husband, Stephen Bowen, has been arrested. The Coral Springs Police Department report that around 10 a.m. on Wednesday, cops were called to the woman's home to check on her well-being and found her dead with a gunshot wound to the head. Her 40-year-old husband was subsequently taken into custody. The police department indicated that through preliminary investigation, it was determined that the incident was domestic in nature. I'm not even sure who is speaking. It says, at this time, there are no additional suspects being sought or threat to the community. The Coral Springs Police Department Crimes Against Persons Unit, CAPS, is actively investigating the incident. Checks made with Broward Sheriff's Office website show that the man is being held for premeditated murder and tamper with or fabricate physical evidence. No bond has been offered on the murder offense, but a bond of $50,000, and it's US dollars obviously, has been offered on the tampering offense. The reports state that Metea Bowen was the city's first Black and Haitian American female commissioner. She was appointed vice mayor by her fellow commissioners following her re-election in 2024 as commissioner. She is a former environmental scientist before her entry into politics. In a post on its Facebook page, the city of Coral Springs said, "We are heartbroken to share that the Vice Mayor Nancy Metea has died. She was more than a public servant. She was a light in our community. Her leadership was grounded in compassion, strength, and unwavering commitment to others. Her impact on Coral Springs is immeasurable, and her loss leaves a void in our hearts." Several Jamaicans in the South Florida community, including Mayor of Marimar, Denise Grant, praised the Vice Mayor and expressed sadness at her passing. Former Global Jamaica Diaspora Council member Dr. Alan Cunningham, who has interacted with her on a number of occasions, described her as a truly nice person who cared about her community. Jamaica's Consul General to Miami, Oliver Mayer, has also expressed regret at her killing, telling the Gleaner that he has worked with her on several occasions. She was a really nice person who had the interest of her community at heart. This is a very sad situation, and to be honest with you people, I am tired of us making excuses. Let me say this for you to understand very clearly. I don't care how you were raised. I don't care what it is that you would have gone through. Please do not use this thing that some people, based on how they're grown up, they can handle things differently and all of that. We are making too many excuses and not holding people accountable. The country and the world all over lacks accountability by and large. That is a problem. We keep making excuses. Oh, this person handled things different. I don't care about that. And the reason why they do that, it is a choice that they make. They weigh the pros and they weigh the cons, and they say the cons, if I do this, I know what is going to be my fate. So I'm going to allow good sense to prevail. So what they have done is employ the self-control, which is really emotional intelligence. They've made that decision. It doesn't come naturally. It is natural for us to be barbaric, and very primitive, like in how we handle things. So we need to stop crying excuses for these, what you would call it, treacherous acts, these demise that we create. And then we say, oh, there are a lot of people. Most people in the world come from dysfunctional homes, because most homes are single parent headed homes, single parent. And out of that, predominantly, they are matriarchal or matrifocal homes, meaning the woman heads the home. So right away, it's dysfunctional. And even if it's a man that heads the home and there is no woman, it's still dysfunctional. It really should be two different sides of the coins coming together to create something whole, male and female. So we need to stop crying a lot of excuses. That is a problem we're having. We keep saying, boy, and then don't get me wrong, there is a place for mercy and there is a place for compassion. If you know me, I'm somebody who believes in that. There is a place for mercy and there is a place for compassion. When you go into the realm of taking somebody's life, let me tell you, you have to be prepared to deal with the full gamut. You made no one. Doesn't matter what they do, you made no one. Leave, go your separate way if you don't like what they're doing. And usually we find, if the woman decides that she's leaving you because of maybe poor treatment, it doesn't have to be physical abuse. It can be psychological, mental, verbal abuse, sexual, or, well, I would put the sexual under the physical, because there's some physical contact. And she decides, no more, I'm elevating, I'm moving on up. Or some of you men feel, that the woman is going to leave because she's moving on up in terms of the corporate ladder. You make the assumption, and maybe she's not even thinking that way. You have some women who are really committed to their marriage. They're committed to their I-do's. Because of his own insecurities, he decides that, oh, if I can't have you, nobody else will. Sort of as usually that is the case. I'm not saying it's definitively so here. And she's the mayor, or the vice mayor, I should say. She holds a certain position, so it means his fate is not going to be good. And it grieves my soul to know it is a Jamaican man. But let me tell you something. When I come across a lot of these Jamaican men nowadays, and I've even heard Jamaican men saying it, some, uno no ready yet, uno no cut no dash, uno come like somebody put on some plain rice for cook and turn it off 10 minutes before it really cook. 10 to 15 minutes before it really cooks. So, so that tastes horribly toffee. I may not even know how to describe it. This is a shame and a disgrace. A number of our men here are broken. And a number of our black men are, and you guys don't want to hear it. When we say it, you get angry and you spill it, you show it. And what you do, you come and talk about women are this and women are that, as if it's a battle against the sexes. No, it is not a matter of that. It is what the reality is. Look at the prison systems. Look at the mental institutions. Who flood them? Who flood them by and large? The prison systems and the mental too. Although there are two opposite ends of the spectrum, there are two opposite ends that nobody wants to be. That's a very foolish man. And he's going to pay the consequences. Very foolish man. It is sad. Ladies, be careful here. Anyway, guys, you know what to do. Read TikTok and YouTube. Subscribe. Give me one of those lines and you can follow me on Instagram.